What's up, everyone? Studfit here. Another episode of The Rundown, this time for the summer tour. And like the last few tours, I've had Tabor join us. Thanks for joining us, Tabor.
Hey, glad to be here. Studfit, really excited about this new tour, and I know we've got 3 tours in a row of the summer tour coming up, so really excited to dive into this first one, see all the changes, and have a good discussions as always.
Phenomenal. Yes, welcome to the summer. It was funny, interesting last tour. We were talking about when summer officially started, and here we are actually having a summer tour. Very exciting stuff. I think just as always, I like to just talk a little bit about why the rundown exists. Essentially, I was always looking for information every tour, every time a new tour came out, trying to look at what all was getting buffed and what items were good to invest in and how to use my rubies, coins, tickets, etc. From a competitive standpoint, so I could be able to have a competitive advantage over the other players playing, whether it be ranked, all cup ranking, etc. Hence, the rundown was born. So, if you haven't liked this video yet, and if you haven't subscribed, I'm sure you've subscribed. My videos come out at different times of the day, so it helps to subscribe so that you get a notification. And click that bell too as well, so that you're notified when these videos released. Sometimes I do it in the morning, afternoon, evening, so it comes straight to your desk and straight to your computer, straight to your phone when you're able to do that. So it's appreciate that, appreciate the support. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'll do a little celebration as we get there. So please do that. In moving forward, so we have, as Tabor alluded to, this tri-tour special. I don't know what you call it. It's a summer grouping, or I don't know what to call it, but we start out with a summer tour. And we have 2 subsequent tours that are, at this point in time, just question marks. There's some things that will last over all 3 tours. I won't go into too much depth, but I will say I think intern 4 has moved back to college, or went to finally get their first job out of school, and now we're on to intern 14, and probably a new head. I don't know who got promoted and decided that they were going to give us free stuff and give us more rubies, but I love this guy. This guy, or girl, let's just say she's a girl. I love this lady. She is phenomenal. She's way better than the last guy that was there. So this is really nice. They're giving us a lot of free stuff, between these challenges and upgraded tour gifts. I will say, I'm wondering if there were a lot of people that, as we were going through that rough patch between Bowser Santa and Gold King Babam, if there were just a lot of people that were just longing for a coin box shop, longing for some ingenuity or some innovative processes to Mario Kart Tour, and were left hanging and just stopped getting their gold pass and stopped playing, because I do feel like they've been trying to go out of their way to make the gold pass more attractive and bring more allure to it, give more rubies, and so I wonder if they're trying to compensate from that perspective. But with that being said, in anticipation, right now we do have this multiplayer challenge, but there's going to be a second one that starts at the end of this tour, at the beginning of next tour, that has musician Mario. Not the best driver, but hey, we're taking free stuff, so keep it coming. Then we have this final tour. Now, this final tour, I mean, we're talking about better rewards for the token shop. That's exciting. They look like high-end stuff. That will be, as you probably were familiar with that Ninja tour. That was a as we talked about it, entree tour. We were kind of given this appetizer and some other tours kind of leading up to it, but that was an entree tour. I do wonder what kind of tour that will be. One of the guesses that we've had, just based off of in the past, the way some trends that they've had, is they've had a versus tour when the expert challenges end. So, with that being said, likely this third tour is going to be a versus tour. Not sure what that's going to be, but at this point in time, I do hope that they do kind of end on a good note, and that is kind of the trend, or the way that they plan on doing it as they go forward. I don't know what kind of verses would be left. I mean, at this point in time, we've done so many, and honestly, I'm not too excited about what we could have. I mean, I'm trying to think. Maybe a Wario versus Waluigi, I think, would be one that I personally would love, but who knows what's left. But Tabor, I want to get your opinion. I've been chatting so far the first 5 minutes into this video. What's your opinion on this summer tri-tour thing that we have going on here? I don't even know if we have a title, but what are your thoughts about this summer? You excited?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we have new tours, I'm always excited to see what they reveal and what changes might happen, and especially since they decided to do like a three-part. I'm really was curious about what they would reveal, and they have this graphic here. And honestly, the last time they did the three tours in a row, when they had that, what was it? What was the new course that was original? I can't remember. We thought it was going to be the Wario Castle or something, but it ended up being
Ninja Hideaway.
Ninja Hideaway. Thank you. So we had that was part of it, and we were just and they gave us a graphic like this, and honestly, there was a lot more to that graphic about things that were going to come and unknown things and rewards and everything. So when I saw this, I was a little disappointed because I didn't feel like there was as much happening. But, I don't know exactly what's going to be revealed over the next two tours. And you're right. Pattern says that when the expert challenge is finished, we'll have a versus tour. The thing that I just noticed, though, is that these dates on that very third tour from the 27th to the 10th are pretty close to aligning to when the Olympics are going to start and when they're going to end. So if they do a variation to the versus tour, we might see some sort of Olympic tour or maybe a versus tour with a theme of the Olympics or something like that, because it's almost the same. I think the Olympics start on the 23rd and end on the 8th. So it's nearly the same timeline. I also have some predictions for possibly what the second tour might be. We'll get into that in another slide. But anything different is good. It just shows that an effort's being made by the developers to try to mix it up and to try to get people excited and keep playing the game. And obviously they want people to spend money, but changes are always a positive thing. So I don't see any downside to this at all.
Good point. And the Olympics this year is in Tokyo. So Tabor, if you had to pick between another city tour, which would be Tokyo, or a versus tour, which one would you pick?
Oh man. They're both pretty down there. The lesser of two evils for me would probably be a city tour, I would say. No, I don't know. Because a city tour has city tracks. Usually a versus tour has at least new tracks that they put on there in the past. So I don't know. I would take either, but neither of them are my favorite.
Yeah, the Bowser versus DK tour, I don't believe there was any new track, but yeah, I'm with it. Maybe that's why they just kept it a question mark and didn't give us anything else, like a Ninja Hideaway queue there. And I do think my perspective is, from that in that mindset of thinking about what could this versus tour be. I'm thinking Waluigi versus Wario. I'm not sure why. I think I'm a big Wario and Waluigi fan. I liked using them in tennis and all these other Mario games in the past, but maybe they re-release Ninja Hideaway in this in something Wario related, since there's so much Wario all over it. But I do think, looking back on this whole entire calendar year, I do think we'll look back at that Ninja tour as probably the best tour of the entire year. There was just so much going on. King Bob-omb, Shy Guy Ninja coming out, a new track that's phenomenal. There was just a lot going on. I wonder if this tour could compete. I hope so. Awesome. Now let's get into what this actual summer tour. We have this week one pipe. You've probably already taken a look at it and some of the contents. A lot of us were expecting or hoping for a giant banana driver. Because that is so fun to use. But it is triple bananas, and that triple banana skill, there's been some debate. Is it broken? Is it not broken? It just looks like the bananas might be fading a little too quick. But other than that, it is not a giant banana. I want to kind of mention it that way. I've been using DK Junior and for this past week for ranked, and it is I almost would rather have a normal Banana Frenzy than triple Banana Frenzy. It does not get the hits I'm expecting. But it's a phenomenal track. We don't have a slide to talk about the track, but Cheep Cheep Island is a awesome track. And from that perspective, when looking at the new items, each of them have these tracks. And there's no coin box drivers on any three of these tracks. So, when you're talking about value for Daisy Swimwear, that's a huge positive. for the time being. Of course, they'll add a Coinbox driver. It's just a matter of time. But at this point in time, she does have some great value from that perspective. And the other drivers that she shares top shelf with are really nothing to write home about. If you have one, congratulations. That's the first step to trying to win ranked. But there's a lot of people that I know are either trying to use, I believe it's Bowser Santa or a Coinbox driver on the second shelf and just trying to get coin boxes. Using that second shelf with no frenzy and getting higher points. I think that it's. I think I'm thinking of that T version. But overall, that's kind of a little bit about Daisy. For the Sunny Surf Sailor, it's nice to have just one new cart, and that cart being, as you might have checked out the hitbox video that I did earlier. I think it's last tour actually. The Surf Sailor was one of the top 12 widest carts and biggest hitboxes. And from that perspective, I was surprised. I knew it was long, but I didn't realize how wide it was. To now have a reskin of that it is a valuable cart from that perspective. Everything else, we'll see with the Sunny Surf Master. I think that one's probably the least attractive to me. This polka dot Manta glider looks awesome, but we do have two pretty strong gliders there that are this is a reskin of. So I wonder how much value they'll give that. And then of course a super. This blue Koopa free running, they've given a lot of value to the supers here recently that they've been giving us. So I could potentially still see some more value there. But Tabor, what are your expectations? What are your thoughts just as these new items are released?
So I think we were all a little disappointed when we saw Triple Banana as the skill for Daisy Swimwear. It's not a great skill, and I do believe it's still broken. I have Dixie Kong and Waluigi Bus Driver, and they both have the same thing. And I've used them just this tour just to kind of check to see if that skill was still there. And I still see those. I put it on the rear view mirror, and I still see those bananas disappearing during the frenzies. So it's unfortunate, and I wish they would address it or at least make it known that they understand there's an issue so they can work on it. But we haven't seen any of those warnings. The Surf Sailor, I do have the original Surf Sailor, and it's a big cart. I didn't realize it was top 12, so that's awesome. That video, if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you do that. It's a really quality data intensive video. It's really got some information in there that's really important. The only downside I see about the Surf Sailor is that when you use it, the mast and the sail, even though it's transparent, it's really in the way of your vision. So if you're trying to pick up coins, or if you're trying to do your combos, or trying to go a certain direction, it's really in the way. So that's the only downside about that. But on these other ones, again, it's all just, who knows what the value is going to be. It's cool that they put in the blue Koopa free running. It's going to be a super, and it'll probably continue to add some value to it, like the blue Yoshi and the green Shy Guy have been over the last few tours. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. But Polka Dot Manta, Sunny Surf Master, they both given 4 courses, which is pretty standard. Sunny Surf Sailor only gave you 3 courses, not including the L3 and L6. So that's a little substandard and makes me worry a little bit about its future value. But again, it's just a game of wait and see with these new items.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think with, when we look back and say like the Ghost Ride or King Boo, Luigi's Mansion, and these drivers that are still stuck at 10, 12 items, whatever, or 10, 12 tracks, you kind of wonder, like, they're probably always, it seems like they're going to always have that amount. But I think, they kind of they've set the trend that this, whatever it is, if it starts at 5, starts at 6, starts at whatever, they're going to continue to buff it. I would rather a buff come this tour than a future tour. If we're talking about a city tour, we're talking about a versus tour, we're talking about another tour where there's not a new track. I like having a new track and having a buff right away. So yeah, you're right. The Sunny Surf Sailor does have that market, and that sail definitely does get in the way. As for the non-spotlight drivers, carts, and gliders, and there's no changes here. Really, you just have the spotlights for next week being in that pipe. So just kind of skim over that, and we have a lot to unpack in this hour and a half. We have the Summer Pipe 2. We have 6 spotlights. So likely they'll add 3 additional high ends to be a total of 9% high end odds when pulling on this pipe. Now, this is an interesting pipe in that you have a Coinbox driver. Anytime you have a Coinbox driver, in a pipe. It looks so attractive. And I know that there's some players that may not even have Rosalina swimwear, which I believe is your case, right, Tabor?
That's me. Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, if for someone who doesn't have Rosalina swimwear, how would you approach this pipe?
Well, I mean, the nice thing is that as part of this tour, we do have 3 freebies as opposed to 2 freebies. So in a way, you have a little bit more of a chance to possibly get one of these for free. So that's always nice. But, you just have to ask yourself what your Ruby situation is. How desperately do you need that? Where your coverage lies? And there's all kinds of spreadsheets out there that will tell you if you have courses missing, if you need Rosalina swimmer. And yeah, she's a coin box driver, so I believe everybody, it's tempting to get her regardless. But there's a lot of overlap between her and some other coin box drivers, and if you already have those other ones, then you might not need her as much. So you just have to kind of look at your own situation, and also you need to realize that you need to be ready to find these people at the very bottom of the pipe. And are you willing to spend 450 rubies to be able to get her? And, we're anticipating the second and the third tours of this tri-tour series to be hopefully better. Hopefully it just continues to improve each time with new items and new themes and new courses. And you just have to always have those rubies in your pocket and ready to spend whenever it's definitely a brand new character that you want to get, kind of like Mario Tuxedo was. We all wanted to make sure we had enough to be able to get him. So maybe there's another one coming around. Maybe there'll be a giant banana driver. Maybe there'll be another really high-end Lucky 7 or something that's just a must-have. So you just have to be real careful with willy-nilly spending with your rubies on these.
Yeah, and I also think with the 3 tours, and especially if this third tour is an all-out type of tour, I mean, you're going to want those rubies for some awesome pipes. And we'll get into the special pipe this tour. I don't think this pipe is a must pull. I think if you want to do a YOLO, that's fine. But I would say definitely don't go hunting for anything specific in this pipe, because you're probably gonna get it pretty low, and you always have to prepare for that, even if it is at the top. But overall, I mean, you're right. You could get a couple freebies, but my goal is always to help you guys with the tough decisions. Freebies aren't tough decisions. You pull it, and you get whatever you get. So, from me, I would not pull in this pipe, mainly in anticipation for what is coming in these next 2 tours. But it is, I do like Rosalina swimwear. She is great for this tour. If worst case scenario, you don't have somebody for the T-Track next week, I'm using Mario swimwear, unfortunately. But that'll be, I mean, I don't get to use it very often, so I'm kind of excited about that. There's no other coin box driver at the top shelf. So at least I can rest assured I'm not being left out in the cold on that. But yeah, I mean, this isn't a pipe I would go into, but it's worth kind of talking about. But Rosalina swimwear, which we'll get later in, she's a big part of this tour, as you could probably guess.
Yeah, and Mario's swimwear is dash panel, correct?
He's dash ring.
Dash ring, sorry, yeah, dash ring. And so, I mean, well, we're going to talk about some skills and how we re-rank them a little bit. But man, those dash ring frenzies, especially when you have dash ring plus, they're pretty valuable. I mean, you can rack up a lot of combo, a lot of points with all that. And I know it kind of affects everybody that's out there, but it's a pretty unappreciated skill, I think. That's dash ring plus frenzy is pretty good. So I think you'll have a good time using him.
Yeah, I kind of think about the dash ring almost kind of like a blooper frenzy, and that you're getting a lot of actions. Is it really impacting the other drivers? No, it's probably helping them, but you're getting the points, and that's all that matters. But I don't. There's not a good driver in my opinion that has dash ring, so I don't use it, and so that's why I kind of like triple bananas. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't really want to talk about this pipe anymore. It's whatever, but I would hope that you're not pulling on it. As compared to this pipe, there's a lot going on. We'll probably spend, somewhere in the 10-minute mark talking about this pipe because there's a lot going on. For one, I'll kind of talk about the verbiage and what we do know about it. It specifically says in the data mining, Bowser Jr. Pirate leads a pirate crew including King Bob-omb and Nabbit. They're in the spotlight. Now, if you remember the tour where we had King Bob-omb Gold, which nearly everyone pulled for, he was the only spotlight, and they said they said the plural. And you have to realize that they're probably writing this script in some other language and putting it through some translator,
Google Translate. Yeah.
Google Translator, and just like your Spanish class that you tried that on, it did not translate very well. So from that perspective, you can't get too mad at them. They might be trolling us, they might not, but that's beside the point. All that we know is that there is at least one spotlight. In my opinion, my prediction is that we have Bowser Jr. Pirate as a spotlight and the only spotlight. The other items are going to be a 1-1-1. So there's going to be when you pull one of the drivers, you're going to have a coin flip between King Bob-omb and Nabbit, which are both in the 100 pipes. So there's not like a huge attraction there. For me, I like this pipe, and I'll get into why. But a coin flip there for the drivers, and then for a cart, when you pull the high end cart, you get one of the 3 carts, and same thing with the glider. So a total potentially in based off of my prediction of 4 high ends, 2 drivers, 1 cart, 1 glider. That's my guess. I think 4 high ends and a 50 pipe, especially with 2 of them being drivers, that's phenomenal. And I almost think it's like too good. I think realistically, a 50 pipe is, especially with drivers in it, is going to be 3 high ends. But I just don't know how they'll do a spotlight of a driver or any spotlight, and then also have the other items. So this is just my guess, and it may be because to kind of kick off the summer, kick off this wonderful tour combo, they decided that they're going to actually give us a nice special pipe. It's been a while since we've had a great special pipe, in my opinion. I have not done a mega pool type of video with you guys, so Sunday I will be doing a pirate pipe pull, about 700 rubies, and I'll have a lot of fun with it. And I didn't buy any packs this tour, so these are rubies that I've been saving up because there was not great pipes outside of the Luigi and Mario week 1 pipes. The special pipes and the week 2 pipes were not attractive to me. So with that being said, Tabor, tell us a little bit about some of these items and how you would approach this pipe.
Yeah, so it's really surprising with the fact that they have 9 items featured in this pipe. I know they're not all guaranteed, but the fact that there's 9 different high ends that are being offered, it's all kind of a mixture. They've had a cart only pipe where they've had a lot, or a glider only where they have a lot, but this has a mixture of all of them. So I think you're about right about the prediction with the spotlights and the 1-1-1. I mean, I could see maybe some variation. The thing that we need to kind of look at first is that which of these 9 are regulars in a pipe, regular high ends. And I believe that there's 4 of them. King Bob-omb is, Nabbit is, Sushi Racer, and Steel Driver. Those 4 are regulars. So I don't see them being a spotlight. So I think I agree with the Bowser Jr. Pirate. That one's probably one of the rarer ones that are in this list, and in terms of trying to get him previously. And so I think he'll be the spotlight. And then after that, you just don't know. There's some good quality things in here. Again, Nabbit we know is a very good driver. If you don't have him yet, I know he's regular in the pipe now, but it's a great opportunity to try to possibly get him. Steel Driver has been flirting in the top 10 list on and off for a while, so that's a good part. King Bob-omb honestly is being used quite often it's I think a top 15 or top 20 now. But it's always nice whenever you see a regular, normal high end that's being used regularly. It makes you feel good about having got him before, and you can count on him now. Looking at the gliders though, Manta Glider, I haven't really seen much. Blooper Wingtip is used every now and then. Black Grade Sail ended up jumping into our top 10 list, I believe, last tour. And it's doing nothing but increasing value. It's a very, very, very good glider. So it's a great opportunity for you to possibly get that. But again, if it's not a spotlight, you need to also be okay with it not happening. So it's just the risk that you have to take as you go into these. But Black Grade Sail has only been available in one other pipe previous to this, and it's been a $40 pack. So it's one of the rare ones that are in here. And so if you're lucky enough to get it, great. I think it's going to serve you well. But again, if it's not spotlight, just realize the risk and the rubies that you might possibly be wasting. So it's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, solid points there. I think that's good to know. I will say there's a potential that you could pull Nabbit in all 3 pipes. based on him being a part of the permanent. So for those who were pulled on him when he came out for that Lucky Seven pipe, unfortunately they've been
Sammy.
they've been kicking you while you're down. I think a lot of people were in that boat, but tears go out to Sammy D with the Cart Life. Make sure to follow his channel. Now for the packs. There's a lot going on here. I had animations, but made some quick changes here. I do think for the Gold Cooper free running, this is a stud pack. Unless you're someone like you're in my boat where you have already him at level 7, this is probably going to be the best pipe out of anything. Anytime you have a coin box driver, it's going to be extremely high value. The gold cheap, I forget, it's just cart. But the gold cheap
charger.
Cheap charger, that's right. This gold cheap charger, it's a tongue twister there. It's a solid cart, and we'll get into where it ranks. But ultimately, this is a great pack, unless you already have Gold Cooper free running. As for the Dry Bowser, for most people, this is going to be a dud. Now, if you said, hey, there's a small pack, a 45 ruby pack with a driver in it, I would say that's phenomenal value. And then you said, well, gotcha, it's Dry Bowser. It's just one of those drivers you probably have pulled and more than any other driver. And I have a very unique relationship with Dry Bowser. He was the first driver I took to level 7 in this game. And I've probably pulled him enough to take him to level 7 probably 3 times. But so for most people, it's going to be a dud. Now, there's going to be some people that want to max him out for their shop. He has a shop item, and you want to have those daily selects maxed out. So there might be a chance where you're just one away and you want to do it. I think I'd probably prefer to just get him out of 100 pipe, but that's an option there. Or if you need the 6,000 coins, because if you're getting something else, maybe you need coins for some of the items, like a tier shop item or whatever, and there are some good options there. Maybe you want the coins. So I'm just saying it's a dud for most. I think it's pretty obvious. But anytime you have a driver as part of a pack, it's worth noting. As for next week's packs, we have this SNES Mario and 8-bit pipe frame. To me, I'll say it's intriguing. I'm probably going to get this pack. I don't have either of these items at 7. But the one thing I want to point out for this is that this could be a potential clue. Here's why. If you remember, I think it was 3 tours ago or 2 tours ago, right before the wedding tour, there was a Peach Cherub, Baby Peach Cherub pack, and we were just scratching our head. Why is Baby Peach Cherub in the DK versus Bowser tour? This makes no sense. And I remember asking you, Tabor, like, what is going on here? And you were shaking your head just as much as I was. I think from this perspective, and then you saw the following tour was a wedding tour, where you would literally have a Cupid shooting hearts. Like that was almost kind of a clue or a tipping of the hand from Nintendo's standpoint. So for me, my takeaway is that this could be a clue as for what next tour is. So I'd love to hear in your comments if you have an idea for what next tour could be, and if it could have any ties to this SNES Mario, this 8-bit frame. My thought is, this SNES Mario came out during I believe the 35-year anniversary, last November or so, and I think it actually might have been October. But anyway, the point is that it was an anniversary item, even though it was 8-bit. So my thought process is, I wonder if there's another Mario related character whose anniversary is in July, and you know whose is? It's DK. He's got his 40th anniversary here, and you probably remember a lot of the tours, they're kind of a little bit late on things. Like, we're doing the summer tour. Summer started last tour, officially. And if you remember our anniversary, we were wondering if there was going to be an anniversary tour, because the anniversary had already come by prior to even the preview. So I do think they're a little bit late on things. So my official guess, next tour is a DK tour. Now, I know there's a lot of DK fans who are already probably suspecting a jungle tour or something coming out. So maybe this gets them a little too riled up, and Nintendo just wants to smash their dreams and stomp on any hearts that are out there. But that's my prediction. DK fans, show your support. Comment below. But Tabor, I know you have a different opinion. If there is a potential clue, what do you think that would be?
Well, since you had pointed out Baby Peach Cherub resulted in Wedding Tour, which kind of goes hand in hand with the the love theme and the two different people coming together in the tuxedo and whatnot. So I'm kind of seeing this and seeing Mario SNES. I'm seeing um, the 8-bit cart. So I'm wondering if there's going to be like an 8-bit tour coming up. And I was just doing the research, and we actually currently we have 8 different 8-bit items in the game. We have both Mario and DK Jr. SNES, which are both 8-bit items. We have, I believe, just one cart. This 8-bit card that you can see on the screen, and then I think there's actually like 5 gliders. 2 of them being super. We have 8-bit Mario, 8-bit Luigi. We have the 8-bit Fireflower, 8-bit Bullet Bill, and I'm missing one. And the 8-bit
You said Fireflower.
Star.
Oh yeah, Star, of course.
Star.
The OG.
So there's a lot of different 8-bit items, and and that'd be great for filling up 1 or 2 of the pipes, in there, and maybe adding in some more carts next to her. So that's kind of my prediction. I'm not set on it, but that's just kind of where my initial instinct pointed me looking at this pack. If there is a connection between the packs of the one tour and the theme of the next tour, which there may or may not be, we might be completely reading in. Might have been a complete accident that the Baby Peach Cherub was there, and then we had Wedding. But we're kind of giving Nintendo some more credit than maybe what they deserve. But if it is, that's where I'm at.
I'm telling you, Intern 14 has our back. They've been taking good care of us. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Nintendo's being just a little bit little crafty. I kind of like it. So there could be some like a Rainbow Tour. There could be some other tours tied to this. I'd love to hear your opinion. But for sake of time, we'll move on because we have a big top 10 announcement we'll get to here in a second. We do have this polka dot Manta glider, our 3rd glider of the series. It looks beautiful. We don't know what the value is. My guess is I just think that Nintendo's not going to make an item like this and just leave it on the shelf. It's too beautiful. I love it. So I think if I had to pick between any of the 45 Ruby packs, I'm going to go with this week too, and that's why I'm putting it as a potential stud. I'd rather get something for my rubies. I'd rather get something new. This is the only new item here in a pack, and so from that perspective, if you need rubies to go into the pirate, or you just want to stock up in anticipation for one of these question mark tours, that's the one I would go for. And then we, based on the great feedback that we got from you guys, the fans, we wanted to include in here the premium challenge and the tier shop. So we kind of put in the special offer there. Yeah, the special offer, this is the 2nd time that the Sunset Clouds have come back into a special offer. It's not a top 10 item or anything like that, but for the price, I'd say just go for it. I'm putting a soft stud on there. As for the premium challenge, we have Metal Mario. Unbelievable. We literally have a pack that's Dry Bowser and a premium challenge that's Metal Mario. In a tour where they're trying to get us hyped up, they're just giving us 2 little turds here. Not a big fan. Definitely a dud there.
There were five high-end drivers in the original tour of whatever it was in 2019, and there's 2 of them on this screen. So I don't know why they're going back to the basics there, but I don't think they're tempting very many people on both of those.
Yeah, great point. I will say I'm trying to think. I'm always, you know me, I'm an overthinker. I like to think, why could they possibly be doing this? And I do know that some businesses, this is a business to Nintendo, is that they're probably testing who is going to get this every single time regardless, and who is going to get the good. Like, this is a baseline. This is a baseline move where you want to understand who are my, even if they have this at level 7, they're going to go for it anyway. To be able to say, hey, here's my range. This is a great driver. Here's a not so great driver. This is our range, and because otherwise you don't have from a data point perspective, these maximum and minimum. So that's my guess. Is like there's no other way no other reason you do this other than just say I want to know who is going to get this every single time, even if they have this at level 7, or even if they don't need it. That would be me. That would be most whales. Where are my whales at? I just want to know how much revenue is coming in every single tour just off of this factor of our game, and this is how I think that they're doing it. Then tier shop, of course, you got the gold glider as you mentioned, Tabor. From that perspective, I think you got to get it. If you don't have it, you can max out your daily selects using the gold glider. It's my favorite. It was the one I selected. but most likely, I mean, you might already have it there, so it might even not be available to you. Anything else you want to touch on when it comes to the packs and special items?
Nope, I think we're good.
Let us know if you like the way that this is presented. Certainly, we're not married to any of this. Moving into who got buffed, I love this driver buff. Look at the top two items. You have Painter Luigi and Tuxedo Mario getting 4 buffs for Luigi and 3 buffs for Mario. Anytime you got Mario and Luigi at the top of the screen here, you are excited, and these are two characters with great special skills. Now, when you look at Luigi Painter, he's got the cheap. I think that's the cheap island, the CI1 and 1R. Is that correct? No, that's
Yes.
not correct. It's something else. I'll get back to you on what courses he got, but sorry about that. But overall, I mean, anytime you have 4, that's good. He now has 10 tracks. That's phenomenal. And then Mario Tuxedo. This is the one I really want to talk about because he got, although he only got 3 compared to 4, he's got 2, the Shy Guy R and the Shy Guy Bazaar T. Both are tracks that do not have Coinbox drivers on them. So he now has some exclusive tracks that he has Coinbox on, and that is phenomenal. I mean, this Shy Guy Bazaar R, the one that's in ranked, it is made for a Coinbox driver. There's a couple places, I think I've had some good people that are very knowledgeable ask, hey, where should I be trying to get Coinboxes on this? And I think from that perspective, at least for Shy Guy Bazaar, you're hoping to get a Coin Frenzy or maybe a single box going up that gliding section. And then that box 2 is great for a coin box, but really that last box is ideal for a coin box frenzy. But either way, I love these new tracks. Now, of course, the Airship Fortress RT, you got a couple coin box drivers you might have at a higher level. But I love those moves for him, and I love moves for Luigi Painter. I'm a big fan of Luigi Painter. I hope that he keeps getting these types of buffs. Anytime you're looking at 4 buffs in a tour, on a tour where there's new tracks and things going on, that's phenomenal. Did you happen to see what his new track was?
Yes, Choco Island.
Choco Island. Okay, there you go. So good ones to get, pretty decent ones at least. They're short tracks though, so that part kind of stinks. But overall, Luigi Painter, you gotta love that 4 buffs there. Now for this section where you have 2 new buffs, you see everyone except for Shy Guy Ninja, which I'll get to after this. But this Cheap Island, which is a beautiful course, you opened it up and you saw. You either didn't have a top shelf or you had a top shelf of somebody you weren't expecting to be using anytime soon. Except for maybe Peach Explorer had been pretty close to our top 10. Maybe even broke it once or twice. But, I mean, really everyone else is just kind of this driver that if it's not a great skill in the week 1 pipe, I just skip it. I can't go for everything. I'd rather use my rubies to get a different high end. So from that perspective, that's all Cheap Island was just these obscure characters, and they buffed all of them with, it seems like, 1 or 2 of these Cheap Islands. So it's interesting to see them all get buffs. I'm glad that they get buffs, and hey, you know what? This is what we've been asking for is, hey, hold off on the coin box. Let me use some other drivers, and it's for those people that have been asking for that. You got exactly what you wanted. You just weren't getting, the driver that you had. You're not getting Metal Mario on that. You're not getting a driver you had at a high level, and you should be expecting that. That's kind of their new thing. It's an old thing brought back again, but it's interesting to see some of those get 2 buffs. As for Shy Guy Ninja, I want to talk about this. So I don't think this is clear for everybody. I don't think everyone knows this. I didn't even really know this, but the bots that you see on the track, they're never a top shelf. So any top shelf driver you see on that track, they're not going to be a bot on that track. They're going to be that second tier. They might be a third tier. I don't know the details specifically, but I'm always looking at that middle tier, that second shelf up. Those are the drivers that are going to be bots. And so both of Shy Guy Ninja's tracks have a Coinbox driver on that second shelf. So you will have the ability to get a boombox where you have you are getting a boomerang frenzy while somebody in front of you has a Coinbox. And you can get, 20, 30 coins pretty easily there through a boombox frenzy. So there's also some great areas in Shy Guy Bazaar where you're gliding and there's like all these coins in a big bunch. Check out Carlos 85. Got a good run. I think he only had like a blooper frenzy and a boomerang frenzy, but he happened to get a single boomerang and get all these coins in this bunch and got I don't know, geez, like 17, 20 coins there. So anyway, my point is that these are two great tracks for Shy Guy Ninja. Anytime you have Shy Guy Ninja getting buffed, while there is a coin box driver, or really anyone with boomerang, but in this case he happens to be our only high end, where you have a middle shelf with a coin box, you are happy about that. He got both of those. So great, kudos for him. I think as we move into the drivers with one buff, I will say this Birdo Black keeps getting buffed. It's up to 19 tracks and 4 cities. So it's a very interesting driver. Not one that I think anyone was necessarily going for, but it is what it is. And then you have this Bowser Jr. Pirate. He only got the R version, which is not in ranked, but it is nice that they gave him a buff. He is a cool little driver. He does have a tiny hitbox, which check out the hitbox video. We also talk about the drivers and how they changed the size of the cart. He's a very small driver, and so it's great for multiplayer. Although his skill isn't very great, you're probably not going to use him for multiplayer. But he does have a small hitbox, which is not great for ranked or for some of the trying to collect coins on the actual track there. I will say Fire Rosalina up to 19. That's a pretty good high one there. Even more than Funky Kong. Although Funky Kong has 5 cities, he's only got 17 tracks. But it's nice that they gave him a track. He's a cool driver. I always enjoy using him. But I mean, think about it. If you're trying to get a driver for Cheap Island R, like why would you be getting Mario SNES? Like that. It just reminds me that pack is just so crazy weird. It has to be a signal to me. That's my opinion there. Then you have Peach Halloween with 20 tracks. That's a lot. 4 cities in addition. You also have Toadette Explorer with 20 tracks, but 0 cities there. White Yoshi with 19 tracks, 4 cities. And then the 2 supers. I know you like these 2 supers a lot, so I'll let you review this entire driver buff, starting with the supers.
Yeah, so Blue Yoshi has been in the game for 8 tours now. Green Shy Guy has been in the game for 7 tours now. They were both ranked rewards. That was a new thing that Nintendo did. And then there was that whole tricolor Yoshi pipe that was available where you could get Blue Yoshi as well in case you didn't get it there or you just wanted to move them up. But in both of those cases, Blue Yoshi has been buffed in 7 of the last 8 tours that he's been around. Green Shy Guy's been buffed in 6 of the last 7 tours that it's been around. So they're continuing to get more and more value. However, I think they're reaching their plateau. Most of the super drivers that are in the game do not have more than 12 or 13 tracks to them. So I really don't anticipate, unless they go out of the norm, anticipate seeing them getting buffed anymore. I really like Blue Yoshi. It's actually going to be an opportunity for you to use him, I think, for the T level. Don't count. Oh, well, right there. I guess it's Cheap I. So it's not in a ranked track, but it's in the R version of it. But I mean, both of those, I think, especially if you're really don't have a lot of high ends or a lot of high level high ends, both of those could help you, especially Blue Yoshi with the dash ring and everything. But just a quick overview of this. I think Luigi Painter and Mario Tuxedo should be on the top shelf. And really, this is how it should be. The most recent drivers should get the most buffs. And as those drivers get older in the game, they'll get not as many buffs. And that's, and I think I don't expect anything less. And this is just great things, especially for those Mario Tuxedo fans. They weren't excited about him getting city tracks last tour. And now all of a sudden they made things right by giving him 3 really good quality tracks. So I'm excited about that. The only other ones that really stand out are the ones that just don't look like they belong. Peach Halloween, this is 2 tours in a row where she's getting buffed, and I'm not sure what they're trying to tell us there. But I know for those people that have it, it's really kind of maybe benefiting you, especially since it's in a T version next week, and will help you with ranked. White Yoshi continuing to get value. It's up to 23 already. It's a relatively newer one. Cat Toad, Cat Peach is actually arguably has better value than Cat Toad, but they're really showing a lot of love to Cat Toad recently, so it's really starting to catch up. And for those that have it, again, it's going to be helpful in the week 2 ranked. And Peach Explorer has 25 tracks. I mean, it's really starting to be used a lot more and more. So there's some really good quality ones on here, and it's a huge list. But I think the next slide will even have a bigger list.
Let's jump right into that. Talk to us a little bit about who got buffed for the carts.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's a huge number of different carts. We have 3 carts that got 4 buffs. Painster was the new one last tour, and it got 4 buffs. It's now up to 12 tracks already. Lime T Coupe and Badwagon, also got some, and those are going to be. I think Grand Badwagon is useful in one of these coming up on the Cheap Island. Jet Cruiser got 3. We have a big string of cars, that got 2 buffs. Decal Streamliner, Inferno Flyer, Pink Dozer, Purple Bunny, and Sakura Quickshaw, all relatively newer ones. Maybe Decal Streamliner is the oldest of the bunch here, but it's starting to pull away from its big brother Orange Streamliner a little bit in terms of value, in terms of number of courses. And then we have 14 different ones down below that got only 1 buff. 8-bit pipe frame, which is also in that pack that we discussed. B-Dasher Mark II, Black Penguin Slider, Black Turbo Birdo, Cheap Snorkel. Cheap Snorkel also is going to be one of the spotlights next week. So it's good to see always good to see a spotlight getting value somewhere. We hate to see this huge thing being advertised as pay money and get this, or try to spend rubies and get this, and then it doesn't have any value that current tour. So it's always nice to see that. Gold Cheap Charger, which is a really good cart, also in a pack this week, up to 23 different tracks. Gold Cheap Snorkel, which is a gold pass reward this week in the rewards there, also got 1 buff, so that's nice. Ramby Runner, Star Spangled Flyer, which is a relatively older cart here, getting a buff. Steel Driver, White Turbo Yoshi, Wild Pink, Wildfire Flyer, which is, I think, the oldest one in this entire list to get a buff here. It's been around for a long time. And then finally, Blue Turbo Yoshi, which was made available during that tricolor Yoshi pipe last week. So overall, a lot of different buffs out here. It's good to see them kind of spreading it out, though, and in a lot of newer ones, but also some older ones as well.
Yeah, a couple things I wanted to point out is that Grand Badwagon, as I mentioned last tour, it was really good that it kind of got through the city tour, only getting 1 city and kind of coming out unscathed. And you see getting 4 new tracks here. It's up to 13 tracks, which is great for, it's kind of getting buffed at the same trajectory as Mario Tuxedo. And so it's certainly one I'm going to keep a close eye on. The Painster, a huge fan favorite. It's a massive wide cart. It's got a great hitbox. It looks beautiful. It's fun to use, but it does only have 9 now, which isn't a bad thing. It just it got buffed 4 times. It literally came out that last tour, and it's great for a tour that they get some city tracks, obviously. So that's beautiful there. I will say this Jet Cruiser, I was really surprised to have 17 tracks and only 3 cities. It came out during a city tour, and got buffed last tour. Which is a city tour. So it's gone through 2 city tours during its peak buffing, and still has 17 non-cities, and only 3 cities for who's gone through 2 city tours. So something definitely to point out there. The other one is the Purple Bunny. This is one that I took to 6, I think in the Sydney tour, and it's been paying off. It was part of the Chaco tour. It's been actually an awesome cart. Because it really only came out paywalled, I'm wondering if this is going to be kind of similar to. I know we already have kind of named the Wild Black and Rose Queen of 2021, but I do remember that Wild Black and Rose Queen for a long time were only paywalled, and I think maybe still only available in packs. But this is one that you would have had to get into a pack before investing in it, and it's been extremely valuable for me, and it seems to always be there. But the only downside to it, though, I will say, is that and the Wild Pink, have a lot of overlap between each other. And we tend to see this as, 2 or 3 items just kind of having a similar overlap, and you kind of have to just say, this one or that one. I have both of them really high, so I'm not always using the Purple Bunny as much as I even want to, just because I think the Pink Wing or the wild pink is level 7, and the purple bunny is level 6. So, in those cases, I'm not even able to use it. But I just want to kind of point that out, that purple bunny has had really, really great ranked value. And it seems like every time it's gotten buffed, that buff track happens to be in ranked. The other one I want to point out is the Mark II, obviously a big fan at 17. But this Black Turbo Birdo at 20 tracks, a very, very surprising high number of tracks for a cart that came in a pipe that a lot of people didn't pull on. It's almost kind of like we talked about with the drivers. It's almost like they looked at, hey, what item does everyone have the least of? Let's put that as top shelf, and that literally might be how they do it. So, every time we say, hey, go for this pipe, don't go for that pipe, who knows? I mean, maybe the pipes that we're all saying don't go into are the ones that they said that they continue to buff. But this Black Turbo Birdo, if you had to put tickets on it, it's a good one. Really, the rest of it, I do want to point out that Romby Runner, it's a fan favorite. It's gotten some buffs, and it's nice to see 18 there. But for sake of time, that's all I'm going to say about the carts before moving into the gliders. Good. So as for the gliders, there's less than the carts, but we still got some decent buffs here. We have, looks like 5 gliders that got 3 new tracks. The Bullet Bill, the 8-bit version, 18, and no cities. This is an awesome glider. It's been coming in clutch for my Gold Pass only account. The Black Toe Beans balloons, another favorite as well, 16 tracks, 2 cities. The Flying Easel obviously came out last tour at 9. With 2 cities there. The Glinting glider at 12, a coin glider there that a lot of us got. That's nice to see. It got 3 buffs there. The Starry Great Sail. I've seen a lot of bold people take this to level 6, level 7. I love that move. It's definitely very risky. It's definitely very bold, but it's a beautiful, beautiful glider that I just wonder if they're gonna have have 3 reskins, all really valuable. But I mean, at 15 tracks already, 4 cities, it's hard to argue its value for sure. And then as we move into the gliders with 2 buffs, the 8-bit Fireflower, the Black Great Sail. I love this. Look at that. 23 tracks for the Black Great Sail, an awesome glider. I'm just gonna let you guys know, obviously a top 10 glider, very, very good, and we'll talk about why it's in the top 10. But it's in this week's this tour's pipe, so definitely try to get it. It's an awesome glider. I promise you will not regret it. The Rose Parasol at 19, that's really good as well. The Bright Balloons at 19. Some other buffs. I will say this Penguin Wingtip, I took to level 6 as a risky move back in the Berlin tour. It's been ranked the last couple weeks, so it's been sneaky good for only having 15. It's been in ranked here recently against any logic. But if this is like a summer 3 tour, I know this is a summer tour, but this is like a summer tri tour. Maybe we could see the Penguin Wingtip getting more. 15 definitely has room to grow. Silver Manta glider, obviously 19 is great there, but that Black Great Sail definitely took the lead on that neck by neck tie between them. And then we had the Sunset Balloons, obviously a top 10 glider at 21. Kind of skipped some of these other ones as it's not as notable, but the Toe Bean Balloon Surfmaster got a buff, and then the Mushroom Glider got now to 10. So, Tabor, what do you want to say about the gliders that were buffed?
Just the initial things that I see, we have a couple 8-bit items on here, which we have seen some 8-bits regularly get buffed, but maybe continuing to lead into my prediction of the 8-bit tour. The thing that I pointed out last tour is that Lady Track Palor, remember, wasn't buffed for like 36 tours in a row, and now all of a sudden it's buffed 2 tours in a row. So I'm not sure what they're doing. Maybe they're just apologizing to it for ignoring it for so long, but it's it continues to be on this list. Other than that, these are just some good quality ones. I think the ones up at the +3 should be there. Flying Easel definitely should be there. Black Toe Beans was a little surprised. That's not necessarily a newer item, as well as 8-bit Bullet Bill, but they gave it a little bit of love here. Starry Great Sail already has 19 total tracks, which is really impressive. And yeah, that Black Great Sail getting to this tour, I think that's a big reason why it jumped so high in the rankings, as we're going to find out soon. But already up to 24 total tracks, only one of them being cities. So some good quality ones here, and it's exciting to see how this will translate over to our rankings here pretty soon.
Let's jump right. Let's just use that as a segue because we have, geez, we got about 20, 25 minutes left in this video. And we had a lot to talk about. This top 10 is probably going to take up most of that time because there's just, we did a major update. So we almost kind of want to just, the last top 10 was the last part of this series. Tabor, I don't want to take anything away from you. Why now do the update and what happened? What is the update and what are the implications?
So we did a couple updates. I actually started because it had been about 8 months since I sent out a survey about some skills being re-ranked. We had Super Bell getting introduced since that time. We also had a lot of people see some value, some increased value and decreased value of certain skills, especially driver skills. A lot of people have really perfected the art of boomboxing, so they really like the boomerang a little bit better. And some different things getting reshuffled around. And I know there's some argument out there that the skills really don't mean anything except for drivers. The kart skills and the glider skills don't mean anything, but they're there for a reason. There's a little bit of some differences between the two. So I just wanted to get everybody's take. So I just really want to shout out to the Discord and the Mario Kart Tour community for really jumping on top of this. I rewrote the survey. I sent it out as a whim on the very last day of last tour, hoping that I would be able to get some good enough response to be able to factor this into the rankings this tour. And within 24 hours, I had over 80 people complete that survey and turn it in. And I think we're close to about 90 or 95 now. So it's just really want to shout out for all of you that took the time to do that. I know it was pretty time consuming the way that it was set up. But anyway, I just want to really give a shout out to the Kart Life community, the Carlos community, to all the different ones that I sent it out to. Just thank you for doing that. So I did that, and there's a little bit of shakeup in the skills, especially with some driver skills. Before the giant banana was actually the number 2 skill, and then that actually got flip flop with Lucky 7 this tour. And some other ones that are in there. But another change that I also did, along with the normal changes from tour to tour, was I changed some of the weighting. Because a lot of people decided they didn't feel the skill was as important, especially with the karts and gliders. I went ahead and minimized that and brought that down a little bit so it didn't affect it as much. And I upped a lot of the other ones as well. So I brought the skill down on the karts and gliders. I brought it down from the 12 point something to 10%. I made the weighted rank value up a little bit more, and then the CCV and WCV, I kind of rounded those out to fill in the gap in some even numbers. On the drivers' percentages, I didn't really change much, as you can see. I just kind of tweaked them a little bit to make it a little bit more even. But I made the driver skill exactly 1/4 of the overall value, and then the other ones were changed as well. So 4 main things happened going into our rankings this tour. The reshuffling of the skill rankings, the changes of the category weight percentages, as well as the buffs and the ranked use. So all 4 of those get mixed in, came up with some new rankings of these DKG items. So I want you to keep this in mind before we go into the next slide, that a lot of these are going to look like some major reshuffling in the rankings. And you're right. But it's not, because it's really hard to compare last rankings to this rankings, just because of the major shakeup that I did with some of these different categories that factor into the rankings. So it's almost not comparable. I went ahead and put them on here anyway, just to make sure you can see where people improved, where they went up, where they went down, and everything. But you're going to see on these next 3 slides that there's some new number 1s that were taken over. There was some new top 10s that were introduced. There were some top 10s that dropped out. So we'll kind of get this going. But those are the major updates that happened between last tour and this tour.
Yeah, it's certainly good points there. I will say I was really hoping that the karts would have been moved around. And mini turbo is a little overhyped in my opinion. But I think by moving the skill down to 10%, that's what I've been begging for a long period of time. I just don't think the skills have too much to do with that. And we saw a major shift in the order of the glider skill, which I think is good. There were some surprises. I think banana dropped down pretty low, but I think that's a good thing. I think that in general, though, there's been a better appreciation for a bullet bill skill, or a blooper skill, or a lightning skill. And I think this is all appropriate. In my mind, if I'm going to lose a percentage of chance of getting a coin box or a coin by getting a banana or a green shell, I think that's appropriate. So I'm excited. Just go in that these are going to be looking a little different. And with that being said, let's jump into our top 10. The good thing here is our main men and women here in the top 5 haven't changed too much. You got my man King Babam Gold still at number 1. Nabbit at 2, Dry Bones Gold number 3. These are 3 of my favorite drivers. They're all right there. Obviously, Lakitu being number 4. He's the only one that was a part of this list that he went down pretty significantly. But these are some great drivers. The top 3 drivers are not going anywhere. These are ones that solidly invest in. And if you don't have Nabbit, go into that special pipe going for him. Now, Peach Wedding got obviously a little bit of a boost here. Went up 2 spots. You have Pink Gold Peach, obviously a solid driver. Coin box there, number 5. This is the big surprise, and maybe this is the algorithm. Maybe it's just being a part of ranked. Obviously, 2 tours in a row, but he is now number 13 in our list. Number 6 on our list. Went up 13. Yes, that's right. It went up 13. Isn't that crazy? So it is now number 6 on our list, and honestly, I can't deny it. I think mine's still level 2. I need to start thinking about how I'm going to save tickets for it, because it is an awesome. It now is starting to get the appreciation we were all hoping it would. So that's fun. It's hopefully that rejuvenates the game a little bit for those who think it and feel like it's been a little stagnant. Rosalie and Swimwear up 1 spot to 7. Party Time Life 2 unfortunately dropped 4 spots to number 8. Mario Halloween down 2. Still very surprised he's in our top 10, but he's been consistently there. You can't deny that, and he is beating out Black Yoshi, a former top 1 or 2, 3 driver there. Now at number 10, has seen better days. Peach Explorer just outside the top 10 at number 11. Peach Vacation at 12. Obviously, definitely been using her here recently for some reason. Penguin Toad at number 13. That's crazy. Penguin Toad at 13. I assume it has to do with his ranked value, and I'll let you jump in here in a second. But number 13 there. And then King Boo Gold at number 14 and Penguin Luigi at 15. What do you think about our top 10, Tabor? Do you think this is an appropriate list?
Yeah, I was excited that the top 4 of the top 5 didn't really change much. Shy Guy Ninja was a surprise, but with the increased skill value of Boomerang, as well as some buffs and some rank mode use, I think it was about time for it to kind of jump into place of where it was. It was just such a big jump. It was a little surprising. Other than that, yeah, I kind of see the Mario Halloween dropping out of the top 10 by next tour. Black Yoshi possibly as well. It hasn't been as needed as some of the other ones that it overlapped with. Peach Explorer did jump into the top 15 for the first time. It jumped 5 spots, and Penguin Toad jumped into the top 15 for the first time. So it's nice to see some new additions in there. But overall, a good solid list.
Good. As for Karts, a lot, unlike the last slide where there was really no one outside of Shy Guy Ninja had jumped into our top 10. It was the list had moved around, but it was pretty much the same list. A lot happened to the Karts, and really, if you think about it, other than the skill percentage, there wasn't a lot of still mini turbo. I think jump boost plus, dash panel, rocket start, and slipstream. No change at all in the skill order. However, obviously moving from 15% down to 10 might have done something to this, but a lot of green, a lot of movement. Only one kart stayed the same. Tabor, take us away into the top 10 karts.
So as we know, Happy Ride, Black Dozer was number 1 for a short while. Happy Ride took over that spot last tour, and now it's back to Black Dozer, and I've seen a lot of people happy about that. And it's not only just a great kart, but it's a huge kart. It's one of the ones that are pretty big on your.
It is top 15. I believe it's number 13, just outside that list.
Okay. So it's a great card, especially if you got coin boxers to try to run over all those coins and get that. So that's our new number 1. Crawley cart. I know a lot of people have been really itching to see that jump up higher, and it did move up from 3 to number 2. Happy Road did drop 2 spots, and it's a pretty small cart. honestly, but it's got some good use on there. Rose Queen did move up one. Wild Pink jumped into the top 10 for the first time, actually top 15 for the first time.
Woo.
It was at 16. It jumped all the way up to number 5. Black Turbo Birdo hit the top 10 for the first time, jumped from number 11 to number 6. Purple Bunny jumped 13 spots from
Whoa.
20th to number 7. And again, keep in mind that it's almost like a brand new list that we're looking at because of the change of criteria. So it's now in the top 10 according to the new stats that we configured. Off-roader did drop 2 spots from 6 to 8. Ramby Runner stayed the same at 9, and Gold Cheap Charger jumped from 15 to 10. And then after that, we have we have Cheap Snorkel at number 11. That actually moved up 6 spots into the top 15 for the first time. And then we have Wild Black, which unfortunately dropped from number 4 to number 12. Again, a lot of that is just the shakeup of what I explained before. Gilded King is now 13th. It dropped 3 spots, so it did drop out of the top 10. Fast Frank moved down 6 spots to number 14. And Jade Hop Rod, which was a huge mover, and we were kind of looking at that with some curiosity to see what was going to happen, did fall from number 7 to number 15.
Yeah, I won't add too much. I thought you did a really good job summing that up. I just like that Purple Bunny, man. It's nice to see that up 13 spots. Wild Pink, as I mentioned, 11. But these two have a lot of overlap. So just, you might just have to hitch your bandwagon to one of the 2 cards and just ride it out. And I think this whole list, though, I really like it. The one thing that I heard, I think we saw Ramby Runner, obviously a lot of big fans there. I was thinking when I saw it be a part of ranked, it's only going to go up unless some changes happen to the skill. Mini Turbo now, instead of getting being the number 1 skill at 15%, is now number 1 at 10% for that algorithm, and that's the only reason why it's number 9. But really, I mean, there's so much green on here that some things had to drop, and unfortunately, that came at the fate of Wild Black and Gilded King, and even Fast Frank and the Jade Hop Rod. I mean, really, the 4 of the top 15 were a part of the top 10, and those are still great carts, guys. All 15 of these. I mean, you have to think about how many carts we have to be in the top 15. It's a solid cart. So, as always, check out Bam and Gerb's spreadsheet, which is in the link in this description of this video. Will give you more insight into which of these to invest in. But to take things into the gliders, so as I mentioned, the glider order was a little different. The Bullet Bill skill is actually much, much higher. It was one of the lowest, and now it's one of the highest skills. Anytime you have a skill like Bullet Bill, all it does is, if you're not in the position to get that skill, you're just freed up to get more coins, or more coin frenzies, or more coin box frenzies, or more anything other than the Bullet Bill frenzy or Bullet Bill as a singular skill. So that, from that perspective, that's why I'm a big advocate for this big change of the reorder that was selected by these 80 people. And so it is number 1. It is sad to see the Dry Bowser Umbrella, but I mean, the Dry Bowser Umbrella is still a great glider. Really, I mean, any of these gliders are great, but I mean, really the top 2, like, these are great. The Silver Manta Glider up 5 at number 3. Solid one to invest in. It's just nice to see some new gliders. We only have, what's interesting of this whole list, only one coin glider in this top 10, and that's the Gold Crane. So it's interesting, we're seeing some new skills on this top 10 list. Sunset Balloon still holding down in the top 5 at number 4, down 2 spots. We have the Silver Star Shoot, one of my personal favorite, just based on coverage. It is now number 5, up 4 spots. That's exciting to see. Calico Parafoil dropped 1 spot to number 6. We have the Dragon Wings, a former number 1, dropped 4 spaces to number 7. And then, as I mentioned, the Gold Crane at number 8, it dropped 4. Definitely sad to see it drop 4, but it is holding down as the only coin glider. Then we have the 8-bit Fireflower, again, up 9 spots. So you're wondering to yourself, hey, maybe Tabor, the more I keep thinking about it, maybe we do have some type of 8-bit tour there. It'll be interesting. Some SNES tour. Who knows what happened. Strawberry Donut down 4 spots to number 10. And then we have the 8-bit Star at 11. The Bright Balloons at 12. Silver Bells at 13. Super Mario Kart Glider at 14. And the Spider Glider at 15. Interesting there. What would you like to say about the top 10 gliders, Tabor? And the shakeup?
Yeah, one quick note is I know that Black Great Sale took over Dry Bowser Umbrella, but I have a point system that I look at all the categories. I assign points out of 100, and then I average those out, and then I order that from that average. And if you look at the raw score of Black Great Sale and the raw score of Dry Bowser Umbrella, it's honestly like a tenth of a point. So these could very easily be interchanged, and anybody could argue that one is better than the other one. Dry Bowser Umbrella could very easily be a number one glider, especially according to your inventory. But it's just super, super, super close. But when you look at rankings, you look at rankings. But the point system that determine these rankings, these are very interchangeable.
The last thing I'll say about that, because I know we only got about 10 minutes left, is that sometimes what happens is they want to make a pipe look really good. So they buff something or make it look really good, and then they move on and don't really buff it as much. So although this is kind of a 1A, 1B between the Dry Browser Umbrella and the Black Great Sale, I do think that they may not give as many buffs to the Black Great Sale next tour. My guess is that the Dry Browser Umbrella will be number 1 next tour, and the Black Sale will be number 2. But either way, get yourself this glider. I cannot tell you that enough. This is an awesome glider, and there have been some complaints between the Dry Bowser Umbrella and the Dragon Wings having some overlap between them. I will say the Black Great Sale has its great individual coverage, that CCV number in Tabor's algorithm. It's a great glider. Definitely get it if you can in the special pipe. Moving into the All Cup ranking MVPs, we have two daisies at having 9 tracks as a part of this full All Cup ranking. So that's a lot for, especially to have 2 daisies. I'm not sure why you kind of had so many. Good for her, but just interesting there. Pauline Rose has 8, and then as moving into the karts and gliders with 8 tracks this tour, we have the Silver Manta Glider and the Polka Dot Manta Glider. And then we have the cheap Charger, as I mentioned before. It's the only kart with 8 tracks. And then you have the what is it? Sunny Surf Master. It's really small print. Sorry about that. Butterfly Sunset, both with 8 tracks on this All Cup ranking. Now moving into 7. These are 7 tracks for the All Cup ranking. You have Funky Kong, Dixie Kong, and Peach Wedding, all with 7. You have Happy Ride, Cheap Snorkel, Cactex, Jet Cruiser, the Sunny Surf Sailor. Man, some of these are tongue twisters. Moving into gliders, we have the Cheap Masks, the Black Great Sail, the Tropical Glider, the Festival Wings, and then looks like the Bowser Hanafuda. So these are all great ones. I think the Cheap Masks is an obvious one. You have Black Great Sail, which we talked about. Definitely get that there. And then, the rest, the Happy Ride, that's good to see. The Cactex made the top 12 when it came to that hitbox list. But definitely some great things for All Cup ranking. I know you don't care quite as much, so I want to make sure we save enough time for the multiple use for ranked items, and as well as also the tier or the unlock. So take us away, Tabor.
Yeah, nothing really exciting here, but these are the ones that are appearing in ranked more than once. So again, if you got some tickets to use and you really want to use those efficiently, you would want to plug it onto one of these items, so that way it can overlap with another one. Now, again, you want to make sure you compare to ensure that these items are your best bet for each of those tracks. You don't want to put one on an item if it's not your higher level or most points or anything like that. But these are the ones that do overlap. I'm not going to read through these, but as you can see on the drivers, feel free to just pause the video and take a look at these. But you got 6 different drivers that are occurring twice. You got about 8 different karts that are occurring twice, and 9 different gliders that are appearing twice. So again, you want to always make sure you kind of check, but if you're curious about which tracks that these cover, just look at the 6 different ranked courses, find them, and then you can see whether they're the best bet. And if you have 2 of these, if you have one item that's your best bet on these 2 different courses, then it'd be a great idea to possibly put a ticket on it, because you're not just helping yourself in that one track, you're helping it in 2 different tracks. But nothing exciting in terms of 3s or 4s. We had 2 tours ago where somebody was used 4 different times on the 6 courses, but these are just the ones that are on 2.
I will say, Rosalie in swimwear, this might be a good time to think about triple capping her. I thought about it. I was going to do it, and then I almost lost ranked. I ended up winning by less than 1,000 points this past week. So I ended up having to take, and that's with taking Dry Bowser, Gold Dry Bones to triple cap, and then a day later they released the summer tour. So You might want to wait until these reveal tours on these Fridays to be able to make big decisions, because I kind of regret. I wish. Well, I was probably gonna lose ranked, but maybe it was worth it. I probably would rather use Rosalina swimwear. So think about it. If you haven't double uncapped her yet, or triple uncapped her, or taken her level 7, this is a great tour to do that. And then finally, going into what tracks were unlocked.
Yeah, so these are the tracks that have a level 3 or a level 6 item that will allow you to be able to kind of have that bonus coverage of each of those items. As you can probably guess, and this is typical on brand new courses that are introduced, both Cheap Cheap Island and Cheap Cheap Island T do not have any L3 or L6. So you just have to kind of go off of any of the ones that you might possibly have for top shelf. RMX Choco Island 2R, which honestly is kind of a deceiving one because it doesn't have a lot of top shelf coverage, period. But it also doesn't have very many L3 or L6. It does have Black Great Sail at level 6. So if you happen to have had that or happen to pull it on the special pipe, taking it all the way to level 6 that quickly will benefit you on that course if that's something that you want to do. Shy Guy Bazaar R does have quite a bit. It's been around for a long time, so it's been added and added and added with these. Cat Toad is in level 3. Pauline and Peach Wedding are both level 6. Apple Cart and Gilded Prancer are both level 3. Crawley Cart and Wild Black are both level 6. And then Barrel Hanafuda, Boo Hanafuda, and Silver Bells are level 3. If you're going to go with one of those, choose Silver Bells. Don't do the Hanafudas. Koopa Troopa Beach does have 2 level 6 supers. So if you're struggling to have a higher quality or a higher leveled high end, these are both great options. Hammer Brother and Toad for both level 6. Same thing is true on the Karts. Soda Jet and Super One are both level 3. Bright Bunny and Jet Cruiser are level 6. And then on the gliders, Bullet Bill Parachute, Peach Hanafuda, Polka Dot Manta Glider, and Shell Parachute are level 3s or level 6s. So the interesting thing about that course is that if you're struggling with high ends, you do have some super options that will show up and hopefully help you be able to get those scores that you want. And finally, on RMX Rainbow Road 1, Luigi Painter, which was introduced last tour, is a level 3. So for those of you that have it, it only would take, I think, 2 tickets to put it to a level 3. So that's an easy way to have an option there, especially if you like that level, that Lucky 7 skill that he has. Bowser Jr. Pirate level 6, Dry Bowser Gold level 6. A lot of cards. Painster and Party Wing are both level 3. Black Kabuki Dasher, Gold Pipe Frame, and Rose Queen are all level 6. And finally, for gliders, we have Planet Glider, which is level 3, and then level 6s are Butterfly Sunset, Cheap Cheap Masks, and Treasure Map. So all of those are some options. Again, remember, they only show up when you're within one level of these options, either level 2 or level 5. Other than that, they won't show up on your list until you get them there. So if you're struggling to find some higher end, if you're struggling to find the way to maximize your points on some of these courses, these are some good options if you want some bonus items to show up.
And that's why we talk about it, because you may not know, it boggles my mind how Nintendo, why they couldn't show some of this stuff. But hey, it gives us some content to talk about, Tabor, which, as always, I really appreciate you joining me, Tabor. This was so fun talking about, and honestly, we could probably talk for much, much more longer. But hopefully that gives you some anticipation for what we have in these next 2 tours and who got buffed. We got a lot of change in the top 10. I feel free to comment or let us know if you feel like things have been changed too much. At this point in time, though, our goal is, and we'll probably make changes probably every 6 months, maybe every January and July, because we do think that the algorithm, as we learn more about the game, things become more important or less important, and it is good to be able to get engaged with you guys as to what those skills and what are more important to you. We've learned so much over the last 8 months. The fact that we haven't updated it, shame on us. We probably should have updated it probably 4 months ago or so, just so it wouldn't be as drastic. But I mean, Tabor, you do such a phenomenal job doing all this data and calculating it and getting it, sending out a survey. Like, this was so helpful for you to be able to do. And thank you if you did fill out that survey. We appreciate your opinion. But I mean, ultimately, guys, we love talking about this. We love sharing this information with you, and we do it for you guys. So thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you haven't liked, we are so close. Please push that subscribe button. It would mean so much. We are so close to doing 1,000. Who knows? Once we get to that point, we can stream. Maybe we can do some pipe pulls. Maybe we can do some fun stuff. So I'm excited to share and celebrate with you guys. Maybe it might happen during this tour that we got going on here. But Thank you as always, Tabor. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your summer tour.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.